Thank you for staying. Now, the UN's latest report paints a grim picture of eastern DRC. That's both Rwanda-backed M23 rebels and Congolese forces, along with allied militias, are accused of horrific crimes like murder, gang rape, sexual slavery, torture, and forced recruitment. Now, these abuses are not isolated incidents, but widespread patterns that the UN says could amount to war crimes or even crimes against humanity, with women and children bearing the brunt. Even after a U.S. brokered peace deal in June, survivors still say that there's been little justice or real help, and the UN is urging accountability, better protection, and more support for victims, but progress on the ground has so far been limited. Today on The Conversation, I'm joined by Patrick Kadima. He's a lecturer at WITS University, Johannesburg in South Africa. Thank you so much, Patrick, for joining us at this time.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, and good evening to your viewers.
All right, Patrick. This particular report documents systematic sexual violence, including gang rape and even sexual slavery. In fact, even Volker Turk called the findings really horrific. How widespread is this, especially with UN saying that sexual violence is being used as a weapon of war?
Yeah, so these crimes are really horrific. The United Nations reporters we've heard even goes on to say that this may be labeled as crime against humanity that has been, that has taken place not only through the M23 rebels, but also through government forces that have been fighting the M23. So I think these type of crimes should be labeled crimes against humanity, and we should not have any doubt about that, because when women and children become, pay the high price or become the victims of this war, then we should send a very strong message that both parties need to be held accountable for that. And I think the DR Congo government is not going to downplay this issue, and I think they will take the necessary steps that are there to make sure that these soldiers that were involved in this face, a trial or a day in court.
And now, speaking of, accountability, now some outlets actually cite roughly 3,000 deaths since January, and other official counts, have been higher. Now, can you explain the differing death tolls and what the most reliable estimate is right now?
I'm not a statistician by nature, and but looking at those statistics, in a time of
do you think it is 3,000 or more?
I think it is more. Given the context of how the war is happening and so on and so forth. It can only be that these are just rough estimates, and that it can be more given the situation on the ground.
All right, now the UN has also faulted, both the DRC government and also Rwanda for responsibility, which Rwanda, has definitely denied. I want to know what your take is on that. Do you think Rwanda is complicit or not?
No, Rwanda is. It is. It's not for debate. It's not for debate. That has been found by the UN. That has been stated by other nations in European countries. That has been stated by certain countries in North America, such as Canada. Even the United States of America itself acknowledges Rwanda as being complicit in that. So there is no discussion about that. Investigations have shown that Rwanda is a part and parcel of this war. And in fact, a few days back, it's on Friday, Human Rights Watch also released an investigation that was showing proof that Rwanda has been involved in this war in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo. They can deny all they want, but independent non-state actors and state actors themselves have found that they have been complicit in that war. If they were not part of this war, then why did they go to Washington to sign that peace deal? It shows that they know that they are part of this, and they need to be called out as it is.
So do you have an idea of, exact acts or links, to armed groups, that the report actually points to, because they've completely denied, and like you said, people keep coming up with examples of why Rwanda is definitely involved.
The report is there, and look, I'm going to give you an example. You can't. One of the investigations I read about was that you found that manufactured things that were made for the Rwandan Defense Force, specifically written for the use by Rwandan Defense Force, was found to be in the hands of the M23 rebels. That is one of the issues. The graves of if Rwanda soldiers are not really involved, then why is it that the families of these Rwandese soldiers are saying that their loved ones are missing, who have died? A mass grave was found to have been found where that these Rwandese soldiers have been buried in Rwanda without their families knowing. So Rwanda is truly involved in this thing, and the UN independent, forget all other people, but if the UN panel of investigators, right, independent investigators, outline that these people are complicit, then and point to in the report and point to evidence to show that this is how they've been complicit, supporting the M23 rebels via giving them things that belong to the Rwandan Defense Force and so on and so forth, then it points that they have been playing a role in this conflict.
All right, Patrick. Well, we'll have to take a quick break here. We'll be back to continue with this discussion. Please stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. You're still watching The Conversation, and we're talking about the happenings in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And we still have our guest, Patrick Kadima, and we're told that Emmanuel Liwoto has actually joined us at the moment. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. He's a consultant as Si Jeunesse Savait in Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello, Emmanuel. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are Si Jeunesse Savait in Kinshasa, Congo. We are a feminist organization, and we work with young boy and young girl.
All right, I can hear you now, Liwoto. Thank you so much. Now, let's have your take on the UN report. I'm sure you've been hearing, you've been listening to us, that's myself and Patrick, speak. The report documents systematic sexual violence, including gang rape and sexual slavery in the DRC. Please go ahead.
Yes, like it said, like young girls usually get really sexual slaves with the gang and all those people. And she have also they also capture girls, and they usually make them their sexual slave, or they force them in getting marriage, and they also give their family. This situation really hurts women, because indeed of getting sexual harassment every time, they also being pushed to run away of their family or the place to go in other place. They usually went to Rwanda because it's near, but this situation is really it's really uncomfortable for our country. But the report made by United Nations, it's really saying a lot of things about what is happening.
Well, Liwoto, there are reports of mass displacement and also humanitarian collapse in Kivu. Speak to us. Why is the aid struggling to reach there?
Please, can you repeat your question?
I said there are reports of mass displacement, and humanitarian collapse in Kivu. tell us why aid is struggling to reach them.
I'm having a hard time to really understand your question. But I think you're talking about the
humanitarian aid. Why is it difficult for humanitarian aid to reach the displaced in Kivu? All right, let's quickly hear from Patrick. Patrick, we actually have to wrap up. Let's have your final thoughts.
The humanitarian aid, you will know that currently now that the M23 rebels have now surrounded, the affected areas in the eastern DRC, and therefore now it's not under the control of the government, but under the control of this military group, and therefore they will be doing everything in their hands to try block aid reaching there. So and these are some of the issues that need to be dealt with, very urgently, because if humanitarian aid does not reach people, then that is also a crime under international law. So therefore, the United Nations Security Council especially needs to call for the M23 rebels to allow humanitarian aid to enter. All
right. Well, thank you so much, gentleman and lady, for joining us and speaking on this. So we have just had Patrick Kadima and Liwoto Emmanuel. Thank you so much once again.